right, welcome into the show, everybody. Big Nuggets win tonight there in Memphis. I'm Dan Tanner. This is In the Paint, Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Had to throw my Nuggets hat on tonight for the victory there in Memphis. Welcome into the show. What a quirky game we had in Memphis this evening between the Denver Nuggets and the Memphis Grizzlies. So much to get into here on the post-game show. As always, please feel free to send in your comments on the comment chat there. I'd love to get interaction with everyone listening and get your thoughts on this big win for the Denver Nuggets. So I just wanted to start with kind of going back to the other night in Memphis. And I had talked about on this show, I was very disappointed in Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr.'s performance the other night in Memphis. And I had said when Nikola Jokic is not in there, those are the two guys, and Aaron Gordon, but those two guys specifically have to play better. And they did not play well the other night in their first matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies. Well, tonight, those two gentlemen came to play. They absolutely dominated the basketball game tonight. Michael Porter Jr., I thought, was phenomenal, really, in the first half. He was okay in the second half, but how about this from MPJ, everyone? He shoots 11 of 20 from the field. He did not hit a three-pointer, but he had 24 points, and he only made 2 free throws. He was getting to the rim. Almost every single one of his buckets was inside the painted area. This is a new dimension we're starting to see from Michael Porter Jr. adding to his game, and that's only going to help him, and it's only going to help the Denver Nuggets. It's going to help him by getting him easier shots at the rim, number one. And number two is going to help open up the three-point shooting space around the court for his teammates, because now they have to worry about Michael Porter Jr. being a legitimate threat getting into the painted area. So that was awesome to see. I thought MPJ was really, really good tonight, especially for the first 2.5 quarters. He was their best player, at least offensive player, for the Denver Nuggets. And I thought he really helped set the tone on the offensive end of the floor. Now, Jamal Murray tonight. Look, Jamal has been getting criticized a lot over the last couple of days. And, in my opinion, rightfully so, because he has not been good to start the season. He's the guy that you pay to step up if Nikola Jokic is out, which he was again tonight for personal reasons due to the birth of his child. You could tell Jamal Murray heard people talking about him. And it wasn't just us here locally in the media, it was national media. Kendrick Perkins was going off on Jamal Murray this morning. I hardly ever listen to what Kendrick Perkins says anyways, but I was sent some tweets of some stuff Kendrick Perkins had to say. And basically what Kendrick Perkins was saying was, wow, maybe we really have discounted Nikola Jokic over the years, because Jamal Murray and the Nuggets are completely lost without him. And over the last 2 games, they absolutely were. And he was right in saying that. But tonight, I thought was going into the game, I thought was a huge opportunity for this team without Joker, without Aaron Gordon, to show the fans something, to show us something that they can do without those 2 guys in there. And I tell you what, their winning formula with this unit, without Joker, without AG, play really good defense, run the floor, and that's what they did tonight. I mean, they had a lot of fast break opportunities. They had a lot of strips of the basketball. That was the winning formula tonight for the Nuggets. All right, we've got D-Mac on the show. D-Mac!
Dan, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Good to be on In the Paint.
In the Paint with Dan Tanner, D-Mac, special appearance. D-Mac, I was just talking about, welcome to the show, by the way.
Nice to be here.
I was just talking about the Nuggets seem to have figured out a formula tonight for winning without Nikola Jokic and Aaron Gordon. Something we did not see over the last 2 games against these same Memphis Grizzlies and against the New Orleans Pelicans. They ran the floor like crazy.
Yeah.
They played tremendous defense, and they weren't settling for outside jump shots. I mean, Michael Porter Jr., he didn't have a three-pointer tonight. He had 24 points in the game, only 2 free throws.
And
so
10 rebounds.
10 rebounds. That's my watermark for MPJ, by the way. DMAC is he's the type of guy that should average 10 rebounds a game, in my opinion.
Agreed.
But what we saw tonight from the Nuggets, and credit to the coaching staff, like they adjusted. They said running the Jokic offense is not going to work with this unit. They ran the floor, they played really good defense, and they attacked the rim. And I thought, from my vantage point, that was the winning formula.
Yeah, I that's a great point. They're on Altitude TV. They're looking at Michael Porter Jr. right now. Yeah, it wasn't his game, but look at how many buckets he got, Dan, inside. So, okay.
I think his first 10 field goals, DMAC, were all in the painted area.
So how about that, right?
Wow.
Listen, just figure it out. The big story going into this, Dan, we didn't need a 13 and 16 night, Jamal and MPJ. We said we needed, what did we say? Like 20. Actually, it's kind of scary. Isn't this exactly what we said earlier today?
Yep,
Jamal and Porter needed 27, 24. Wasn't it?
Scott mentioned that on the broadcast too. We were talking about this earlier.
But he didn't mention the radio show.
He did.
He did. All right.
He said, tune in at 2 tomorrow. We're going to be talking about how quirky of a game this was.
All right.
I'm assuming because they're traveling.
Should I try to get Hastings on the phone?
Sure. That'd be fantastic.
All right. I'll send him a text.
Okay. Yeah, let me know. But no, it was great. That is what we talked about on the show today from noon to 3. And listen, DMAC, Jamal Murray, hey, for all of the crap he was getting over the last couple of days from local media, national media, players around the league, he showed up tonight.
Yeah.
And you could tell he was playing with a different sort of purpose tonight. Like you could, and they actually had mentioned, Katie, I think, mentioned on the broadcast, Coach Malone said before the game that him and Jamal had a spirited discussion on the bus ride after their first game in Memphis.
Oh,
and not as spirited, but like it was kind of a father-son like moment, if you will, getting Jamal's confidence back up. And man, I tell you what, D, he played like it tonight. That was the Jamal we're used to seeing.
Hey, Scott Hastings joins us, Dan. Scott.
What's up, boys?
Hey, Scotty. I don't know if Scott can hear me, but
Scott probably can't hear you, Dan. Sorry, Scott.
That's right. Take it away. That's okay. Take it away, D.
But we're just laughing because wasn't this the exact point total Jamal and MPJ you predicted earlier they need to have?
Well, I remember something like that. Yeah. But the cool thing is, and talking about Michael having 24, he didn't make a three. And that's kind of what he's known for, which I think, and he missed 4 free throws in that 24.
Right. 10 rebounds. We pointed that out. And you guys just on Altitude TV, they just pointed out mostly in the paint for MPJ, making it happen when he needed to. Good. Real good.
Well, the heat that, Jamal caught, obviously we talked about the Perkins thing and everything else. That was a good step-up game for both those guys and obviously needed. Listen, they played hard.
Dude, Scotty, 6 guys off the bench, including Trey Alexander. Okay.
Yeah, I got a text in the middle of the game. Trey Alexander time.
That was for me because you were giving me shit about something else. But, but hey, listen, Scott, they figured it out, right? I'm glad they figured it out. I really am.
And I tell you what, our people at Channel 9 got to be awful happy too, because that was kind of an entertaining game if you're a Nuggets fan.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt. Anything else from? We'll let you go. But anything else from that we should know?
Well, 200 triple double for Westbrook. That's pretty good, right?
It's outstanding, and he kept the ball too. Good for him. He should.
And Malone tied Doug Moe. And last time I looked, Doug Moe's got a banner up there, and Malone's going to surpass that 432 by quite a margin.
Yep, no doubt about it. All right, brother. When are you guys getting back tonight? What time will you send us a text? Will you send me and Dan a text when you actually get to town?
Oh yeah. Make sure you have your phones activated so that it will ring. It's beautiful, about 60 degrees here in Memphis. I hear it's just as nice in Denver right now.
Yeah, it was like 27 and like 50-mile-an-hour winds. But have a safe flight home, and we'll see you on the show tomorrow. We love you, pal. See you, Scott.
See you, boys. Be good.
All right. Oh, you know what? You can't hear him, Dan. That sucks. I didn't even think of that.
I can
Well,
hear him.
he can't hear you. He can't
He
hear
couldn't
you.
hear me, but I could hear him. It's all good. That was great, D-Mac. Yeah, really cool. There's a couple of things. Scott said they're really cool. Coach Malone ties Doug Moe for the most wins in franchise history for a head coach at 432. He's going to blow him out of the water. And he's got a championship, which Doug Moe was never able to accomplish here in Denver. I mean, Doug is obviously an all-time great here in the Mile High City, but
Right.
And then the Russ stuff. I was thinking about this during the game, D-Mac. Isn't it funny how Nikola Jokic, and Malone said this in his post-game presser, he's like, yeah, he's the guy that Nikola is eventually going to surpass. He said that in his post-game press conference, but it's pretty funny how Nikola's chasing a dude that's on his team now and still racking up triple doubles. It's just kind of a fun little competitive battle they've got going on there as far as the triple doubles go.
Well, for some perspective on the amazingness of Russell Westbrook's career, Westbrook leads all NBA players ever with 200 ever.
Yep.
Jokic has 136, which, a lot of stats, like Jokic seems like really, really close. Dude, you're 64 triple doubles away. That seems like a lot. I mean, not impossible, but like that is not close, Dan. Not really. So
what does Joker have? Like 6 already this year?
Oh shit. I'm not sure. It feels like almost.
I think he has 6 so far this year in whatever. How many games he played? 11, 12?
Well, what are they, right? They're 8-5 and he's missed 3, 13, 10 games.
So in 10, he's got 6, I think.
6, yeah, crazy, right?
It's for Joker to get to that, because you're right. It is a pretty big number. I think he can get there, no problem. I think the question for Joker is he going to play long enough in order for him to do that? Because Russ is in year 17 now?
17.
Is Joker going to play 17 years? What is he in year 10? Is he going to play 7 years after this? He very well might, man. Joker could surprise all of us and play till he's 40. I mean, who knows? But man, it's just with his lifestyle and how much of a family man he is, how much he loves being home in Serbia. You've just got to wonder, like, is he going to play past 34, 35? I don't know. The guy. We spent time around him. Does he give you that vibe that he wants to play until he's 40?
40, I'm not sure. But I'll be stunned.
How about one more max contract after this one?
Yeah,
How about we look at it that way?
I'll be stunned. First of all, I'll be stunned if he doesn't play to at least 35, and he hasn't even turned 30 yet. And I won't be surprised if he plays to 37. After 37, I don't know. I think he has a lot more fire and competitiveness in him than people give him credit for. I think he really loves basketball. I think he loves competing. He really loves competing. And I think there's elements of a season that, are kind of a drag. But I think he's way, way, way more competitive. That being said, Dan, he's got a 12-day break in the middle of the season. That is what has just happened because they don't play again until Friday at home against Dallas. So, and then it's 3 games, 4 nights with a game on Friday, Saturday back in LA, and then a game Monday back in Denver. So, I don't know. Listen, you won 1 out of 3 without Jokic. I mean,
on the road.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really happy they got this one. This would have been demoralizing, but everything we said needed to happen actually happened tonight. So, and the fact that it was an NBA Cup game is, a bit of a bonus.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. If I'm being honest, the NBA Cup game. I mean, great.
But now, okay, great. You know how
I feel about the NBA Cup, D-Mac. You know how I feel about it.
Well, that floor was exquisite.
That was cool. That was cool. Yeah. Good for them. But yeah, going back to the 12-day break for Joker, I think Vic talked a little bit about this on the morning show today. This is a good thing. Like, it's, would you have liked for the Nuggets to gone 2-1 with Joker? Sure. But I mean, it's November 19th. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is going to pay dividends down the stretch, I think. Having essentially an all-star break, when you're 3 weeks into the season, getting extra rest on his body. I tell you what, man, you look at the end of the playoffs last year and how dead tired this team was, and Aaron Gordon too. And I know his is a little bit different because he's injured, but the rest those guys are getting right now. Jamal missed 3 games earlier in the year due to the concussion, another unfortunate injury situation. But I think you get what I'm saying. Like, it sucks right now not stacking up wins, but we've talked about this, DMAC, from the end of last season. Who cares about the regular season as long as they get a top 6 seed, right? Like, as long as they're in the playoffs, if these guys are healthy and rested and ready to go come March, April, and May, that's all that matters with this team. Right. They don't need to be a top 3 seed. They don't need to inch and claw their way to get a 2 seed and lose in the second round at home. So I look at it as a positive that Nikola Jokic has gotten this, this long break, and hopefully it pays dividends down the road. I think it can really help this team.
All right, Dano, I got a ride here. I gotta go.
All right, man.
I'm about to pass out, but I love being on with you. I love being on.
Appreciate it. So appreciate it very much, man. Thank you so much. Any other thoughts before you go?
I'm really happy they just got the win. I'm happy that Jokic could get rest with what Scott's talked about. I feel weird talking about it, but I don't know. Do we say it? I
already said it. Just say
it.
You
did?
Yeah.
All right.
He had a kid. Everybody knows.
Did he have the kid though?
I don't know. I don't know if he's actually the kid is born or not. I just know that's the situation.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Anyways, of course that's the right thing to be with your wife and your family, and his parents are visiting from Serbia. And listen, you gotta. It's probably a good in the lab lesson for the Nuggets just to figure out how to do this without him. Gives him a little bit of a break here in the season. So I think really net positives. By the way, you could tell the mood was a little loose in the locker room too, because I got Altitude TV on Channel 20, 9 News and Channel 20. Now on Fubo.
There you go. Awesome. Oh, it did work out. Okay, we were talking about that today. Good. I'm glad that worked out.
And
awesome.
They were like when the athletes grab the mic and they start interviewing each other. You know things are pretty loose when Julian Strother is interviewing Michael Porter Jr. So a good vibe, a good feeling, a really, really weird couple of games in New Orleans and then Sunday in Memphis. Super strange because of a lot of different reasons, but that was nice right there. That was nice. They basically led from start to finish. They did not blow a huge lead that they had. They got close, but they didn't blow it. And Saric hitting a gargantuan 3 with about a minute or so to go. That was huge.
And he looks like he's going to play even when Joker's back. He'll be the backup big. So that's good news.
The only negative thing that I got out of this game is that I'm crossing my fingers that Vlatko did not further hurt his injured knee. It was a monster down the lane Vlatko special, which was awesome.
And he was playing great. He came in and played great.
Really he's got this kind of non-assuming personality. Dude is 6'10", y'all. Vlatko Čančar is a big feller. And with surprising hops. And I really am crossing my fingers that that's very minor. I hope it's minor. My last thought too. I like Jay Huff. Okay.
I talked about Jay Huff on my last post-game show. They should have kept him.
I kind of don't know why they didn't.
I don't get it, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, not to be a total.
He can shoot the 3. He's huge.
Well, who would you rather have? Who would you rather have, Jay Huff or Zeke Naji?
Oh, it's not even close.
It's not even close, right? So that was, he's doing all right there with Memphis.
Yeah,
and
he sure is.
I never understood why he didn't get more of a shot with the Nuggets. I mean, I guess because they were financially invested in Zeke. I mean, I guess that was the reason.
There's your answer.
Right.
Yep.
All right, Dano.
All right, man. Good stuff, D-Mac. Appreciate it. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, there he goes. Darren McKee. Yeah, that was tough to see Vlatko go down. Katie is reporting that it's a knee sprain. I mean, I don't really know how official that is, but she did tweet that out during the game. So hopefully that's all it is. It was on the knee. He tore his ACL in that he was recovering from. So obviously just, best wishes to Vlatko. And he was playing great. Like, he came in and look, we saw flashes from Vlatko Čančar before he tore his ACL. That guy can ball. like D-Mac said, he's 6'10". He's more athletic than he looks. He can shoot the three. Man, that would be a tough break for the Nuggets if he goes down, because they really can use him, especially off the bench this year. So it is what it is, and we'll probably know more tomorrow when it comes to the status of Zeke Naji, or excuse me, of Vlatko Čančar's knee. So, anyways, get your comments coming in. I want to see them on the chat here. Let's go through these here. Let's see. Jokic just got a week off. That's going to be huge. Absolutely. I just kind of mentioned that to DMAC. It is what it is. But I look at it as a positive. Nikola Jokic gets essentially a 12, 13-day break, an all-star break, if you will, because he never actually gets an all-star break because he's always playing in the all-star game and around the events of all-star weekend. So this is a positive for me. And having a fresh and ready to go Nikola Jokic at this time of the year, and not even this time of the year, but really hopefully where this pays dividends down the road is in March, April, and May, and hopefully June. So I look at it as a positive. All right, let's see here. What about, let's see, RPG fail. What about Jordan? He came in and did good. Yeah, look, DJ did fine tonight. The two-man game he had going with Russell Westbrook, I thought was really good. You can tell they're definitely savvy vets and they know how to play off of each other. So that was really good to see Russell Westbrook and DeAndre Jordan playing well together. DJ is going to give you what DJ gives you when he gets in there. And what I mean by that is he's going to be around the rim. He's going to rebound the basketball, and he's going to throw down a couple of dunks a game and a couple of alley-oops. And that's exactly what we saw tonight from DeAndre Jordan. DJ is the kind of guy right now for the Nuggets. Well, really, since he's been here, let's be honest. He's the kind of guy that, like, he's called upon only when needed out of desperation, if I'm being quite honest, or if it's matchup based. We have seen Coach Malone throw in DeAndre Jordan, even when the team's fully healthy, based on matchups. We actually saw that earlier this year in Minnesota against the Timberwolves. So, like, he is on this team for a reason. But to D-Mac's point, and I talked about this a little bit on my last post-game show, Jay Huff, man, when he was here with the Nuggets and he would get spot duty, like, I loved that dude. So I was definitely surprised to see they let him go. And DMAC had just mentioned, would you rather have Jay Huff or Zeke Naji? I'm thinking, like, I'd rather have Jay Huff than DJ, to be honest, at least as far as on the court stuff. I get DJ provides value for the young guys, locker room, sort of a player coach type of person on this team. And he's excelled in that role, but I'm more interested in the on the court stuff right now, at least for this Denver Nuggets team, and especially when it comes up to the backup bigs or just the second unit bigs for this team. So anyways, he's gone. That's done and over with. I'm glad to see Jay Huff playing well for the Memphis Grizzlies. He played well last year with the Charlotte Hornets too when he got time with them. So that was good for Jay Huff. He's a good dude. I got to talk to him in the locker room a couple of times. Very good dude. And he's playing well for them. So good to see. But getting back to the Nuggets tonight, obviously DMAC just mentioned Dario Saric hits a huge three with 27 seconds to go. That put the Nuggets up 118-110. This thing was over at that point. But before that, the Grizzlies did make a comeback there in the fourth quarter. They actually got the lead down to 8 points. The Nuggets were up by like 25, I think, at one point in the second half. The Grizzlies did make it a game, but Jamal Murray hit several humongous shots in that fourth quarter. And I know that Dario Saric hit the big one, but the Nuggets don't win this game without Jamal Murray tonight. And I tell you what, like I talked about earlier, to see Jamal bounce back after all of the criticism he got from myself, other local media in town, and national media, that shows me something. It shows me that Jamal cares. I mean, it really does. And he kind of, I think, took it personally how poorly he played over the last couple of games. When Nikola Jokic is not in there, it is widely known from the fan base and from himself and the team that Jamal Murray has to be the dude. He has to be the alpha dog on that team. He has to be providing the offense. He has to be helping run the offense, getting them in the right sets. He failed to do that in New Orleans and the other night in Memphis. I thought he did a much better job of that tonight. He really was. He was the Jamal Murray we've come accustomed to, because honestly, the Jamal Murray we've seen early this season, especially over the last couple of games, he looked like a shell of himself. And it led me to talk about, like, what is the issue here? Is it physical? Is it mental? Is it both? Is it fatigue? Like, what is it with Jamal? But I tell you what, he sure showed up tonight, and he was fantastic. And he had that classic Jamal Murray sort of bulldog mentality tonight. And that's really, I think that kind of bled over to the whole team. Something I noticed early on in this game, the Nuggets were very intentional in everything they did on both ends of the floor. I mean, the offensive sets they were running were very intentional. They were looking for Jamal to get his shot early in the game, which I thought really helped kind of build his confidence up early on. And I thought he played phenomenal tonight. Russell Westbrook, again, props to Russ if you missed it, gets his 200th career triple-double. Nobody in the history of the NBA has reached the 200 plateau marker for triple-doubles until tonight, and Russell Westbrook did that. He ended up taking that basketball and keeping it, which is awesome. He absolutely should have, got a little trash talk and some boos there from the crowd in Memphis for that last bucket late in the game. I mean, I get it why fans in the other team would be frustrated by that, but that's Russ. Like, that's just what you get. He's always been like that, and he's always going to be like that. So cool moment there for Russell Westbrook tonight. I thought he was fine offensively, 5 of 12 from the floor, 1 of 4 from 3, although his three-pointer was in that fourth quarter when the Nuggets needed it, and it was a big one. But, I mean, 10 rebounds, 14 assists off the bench for Russ, and defensively really is where I thought Russell Westbrook shined tonight. And really overall, besides that fourth quarter, the second quarter also, but the quarters 1 and 3, the Nuggets were phenomenal defensively. I mean, they were turning over the Grizzlies left and right in this game. In fact, how many turnovers did the Grizzlies have in tonight's game? They had 22 turnovers. The Nuggets had 18, but the Nuggets forced 22 turnovers tonight from the Memphis Grizzlies. I thought that was really a big key for this victory tonight. I thought their defense led to a lot of transition scoring opportunities, and they took advantage of them. And Christian Brown, Julian Strother, Peyton Watson, the young trio, every single time down the court, those guys were not settling for bad outside jump shots. They were going straight to the rim. And I have pleaded with this team, and specifically the young guys, and I'll throw Michael Porter Jr. in there too, to get to the rim, especially if your shot's not falling. And it hasn't been falling over the last couple of days. But them getting to the rim like this, it's not only going to help them get outside shots in the same game, but that's going to show up on tape. That's going to show up on tape moving forward, where teams can't just play the outside like the Nuggets aren't going to drive into the paint, because they have shown that they're willing and able to do that. And that's one of my bigger takeaways from the game tonight. All right, let's get to some more comments here. Let's see here. RPG. Does that mean we can say Murray's back, or do we need to see more? That's a great question. It's kind of I have kind of an odd answer to that, I guess, because on one hand, we've seen what Jamal Murray can be over the last 8 or 9 years he's been here. On the other hand, we've also seen how inconsistent Jamal Murray can be over the last 8 or 9 years he's been here. And outside of a couple of dominant playoff runs, we've never seen a just ultra consistent regular season Jamal Murray. So, yeah, I would say I wouldn't say he's back quite yet. I would like to see this over probably a 5 or 6 game stretch consistently, and then we can say, okay, there's Jamal. But if he keeps having these peaks and valleys, that's a concern of mine. And it's the same thing with Michael Porter Jr. Like, I've talked about this forever. My biggest pet peeve with MPJ is he's so talented. He's got one of the most beautiful shooting strokes in the entire NBA. He's too inconsistent. But tonight, his first 10 field goals were inside the painted area. I mean, how about that? That's something we've never seen from Michael Porter Jr. before. So hopefully that's something he's adding to his offensive arsenal. Because I tell you what, just like I talked about the team driving to the basket earlier, it's going to show up on tape and not allow teams to just sort of play that zone defense on the perimeter. It's going to show up on tape that Michael Porter Jr. is willing and able to drive to the rim effectively and score the basketball. If he keeps doing that, all of a sudden, his 3-point shots are going to become better looks and, statistically speaking, more likely to make those outside shots because they're going to be more open. So, look, I thought MPJ's game tonight was fantastic in what he was doing and driving to the rim. That's the kind of stuff I want to see from Michael Porter Jr. moving forward. Like, I don't want this to be a one-off from MPJ. I want to see him attacking the rim every single game. And eventually, once teams start to figure out that that's what he's doing, then he can go back to knocking down outside shots, hitting a bunch of three-pointers like he's so accustomed to doing. But I loved what I saw from MPJ tonight. So great stuff. Let's see here. Let's see. So beautiful, brought a tear to my eye. Not sure what you're talking about there. Oh, we've got some Twitter. So I can't pull this up here, so I apologize. I'm not sure what you guys are referencing. Please let me know in the comments section. But yeah, just fantastic night for the Nuggets. Great win. Got a let's go. Great win tonight. Yeah, look, the Nuggets needed this win. Just as far as like morale for this team goes, and obviously they didn't have the best of week as far as their PR goes. Malone missed a game for his daughter's volleyball game. Joker's been out, understandably, due to personal reasons. And then the whole Jamal Murray going to the UFC event there at Madison Square Garden on an off day in between games in New Orleans and Memphis. So, and I know he got a lot of guff for that, but hey, he showed up tonight. So you can't really say much about him doing that anymore. If he's going to play like that, then go take as many trips as you want, Jamal. I really don't care. As long as you show up and perform like you do tonight, then we're all good. So excellent win for the Nuggets tonight. They beat the Grizzlies 122-110 the final. Again, if you missed it, Russell Westbrook, 200th career triple-double. First player ever in NBA history to get to that marker. Coach Malone did say after the game, Joker is going to surpass him at some point. I think he will. D-Mac said it's going to be tough. I think he's going to do it easily as long as he continues to stay healthy and keep playing the game for the foreseeable future. And Coach Malone, shout out to Coach Malone. He ties Doug Moe for the most wins as a head coach in franchise history at 432. He's going to blow by Doug Moe, who's up in the rafters. If you heard earlier, we had Scott on. I mean, Doug Moe's in the rafters. Like, where are we at with Coach Malone? He's the best coach in Nuggets history. There's no doubt about it. He's tied for the most wins. He's the only coach that's brought a title to the Mile High City. And say what you want about Michael Malone, but that dude can coach. And I'll tell you what, my favorite thing about Michael Malone is his ability to relate to his players. And I know we've had people on this chat, and I've seen it for years, of fire Malone, and we need to get somebody else in here. Let me just say this. If you ever are serious about firing Malone, Nikola Jokic would not be a happy camper. I'll just say that. That dude loves Coach Malone. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, for that matter, and Aaron Gordon, and I'm sure everybody on that team, those dudes love Coach Malone. So, I have my criticisms of Michael Malone, but the numbers speak for themselves, and his success speaks for itself. His development of young players on this team speaks for itself. And I'm talking more of like Jamal and Nikola. I get that we're still figuring out if Peyton Watson and Julian Strawther are going to be the guys. Christian Brown's already there. I mean, I still think he has room to improve, but like that guy is a legitimate NBA starting guard. There's no doubt about it. He has been fantastic this year. And Julian Strawther, he showed me a lot of good stuff tonight. I tell you what, he is not afraid to shoot the basketball, and I love that. That is fantastic to see. Hunter Tyson, we've seen Coach Malone give him some run this year. So we'll see. We'll see how these young guys do with Coach Malone. But man, what else can you say about the guy? Like, as much as fans have groaned about him over the years, the numbers speak for themselves, and the wins speak for themselves, and the championship speaks for itself. So excellent win tonight for the Nuggets. They get the 122-110 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies and improve to 8-5 on the season. We will be back coming up on Friday. They'll be back in Denver at the Mile High City. I'll be at the arena. And, feel free to tweet at me if you're ever at the games. I go to every home game to cover. I'd love to come meet some of you. That'd be awesome. Maybe before the game, after, or at halftime. At Dan Tanner 091 on Twitter is where you can find me. Feel free to DM me or just tweet at me there. And I'd love to come meet some of our awesome listeners and talk some ball with all of you listening. So great win for the Nuggets tonight. They will play next 3 games, very winnable, against the Mavericks at home. Then they go to LA the following day to take on the Lakers. Then they come back home for a game with the New York Knicks on Monday, November 25th. So this 3-game stretch, I'm assuming Nikola Jokic will be back. Very, very winnable games here over the next 3 for the Denver Nuggets. But that's going to do it for the post-game show tonight. Once again, the Nuggets get the victory over the Grizzlies to improve to 8-5 on the season. Have a good night, everybody.